Welcome back, guys. This in my videos tutorial series. That this little application that I have been writing in AngularJS, Node.JS, using MySQL. A lot of my followers, they have asked me to basically write the full-fledged application. So even though I have completed the product category portion and I did the demo and I wrote the code, I share the code with you guys. And so what I have decided to do after almost, like, I don't know, 2-3 weeks off or something, not recording any videos, I have decided to show you all the step. So basically we will be completing how to create a create a product, delete product, view product, or just like how we did to a product category. This one would be more involved than product category, because product category, if you have been following along in my video, it had only a few fields, but of course the product category could have quite a chunk of data to be submitted, to be displayed and stuff, such as the product name and the category and product cost, what's the selling price of the product, or the details. And one more thing is missing is, of course, you would like to upload the images corresponding to the product. Of course, if it were the real live application, right? Because you would like to show the images of your product to your consumer. Anyway, I have started with the form. Basic form to create product is here, and I have my category binding is already done. I will show you that one. And I have a validation. It's the same validation that we have been using for our product category. So basically I'm using the same validation here, and I have the same HTML5 widgets here, with the placeholder and stuff. And only new thing up to now, I have not showed you how to do a drop-down list binding in AngularJS. There are various ways you can do a binding of your drop-down list. In this particular case, of course, your data is coming out from the server, in this case MySQL database. Okay, let's look into that code, and then after that we will be writing our service to save the data. Okay, I'm gonna go kind of slow because a lot of my followers have requested they would like to see the code, they would like to know everything in details. So sometimes I go a little faster, so bear with me. All right. So now we have our validation. Oh, okay, this is what I wanted to show you. Product category drop-down list. Here is our HTML or markup page here, okay, called create product, which you can verify by looking at into this URL, create product, right here. And then corresponding to that, we have this EJS, HTML template, EJS template. And only thing kind of new is this piece of code here, starting from up to here. Let me increase the font. Okay, so I have a label called product category right here, and then I have a drop-down list, HTML select, tag, with I have a CSS class and the name and ID, and of course most important, the ng model with the product category ID. Because into the value of that drop-down list, I would like to have the category ID value. So when I submit, I will have that ID available. And into the option, I will say please select product category. That's why you can see this by default. That option is available into the drop-down list. And after that, I have to bind my drop-down list using this very simple syntax. So here I have ng repeat directive. In here I'm doing the for each here. If you guys come from C# or .NET background, or I think for each is very common in most of the programming languages these days. So basically I'm saying I will have, of course, in product categories object in my controller, and I'm iterating over this object, which is array of object. and on each iteration I'm binding the value and the text of that drop-down list using, for the value I'm using the ID property, and for the product category, for the text to display into drop-down list I'm using the category name. Okay, that is all there is. Other thing is, of course, just the same form that I have been shown to you when we created the category, product category information. So that's why I'm not going to go into detail of that one. And other important thing is, of course, create product right here, this method. That's when it basically call this method in our controller. Name of our controller is product create controller right here. I'm going to, usually it's I'm going to close the file that I don't need so that we can focus on the thing that we are talking about. So here is a method called create product. That's the method that gets fired when I click this button. Very first thing is we have not entered any data right here, so that's why we have validation here. I'm not going to go into validation also because I have already covered that one in my previous tutorials. Okay, if you need to have reference to this one, go to, I don't know, maybe third or fourth part of the videos. And then, for example, right now it's asking me to select something into drop-down list. I can choose something and add a product. The one of the validation messages is gone from our validation error message template. Okay. So that is all. Let's go now. Okay. Now what we're gonna do now is we're gonna write the method. We're gonna post this data into our SQL server. Well, into MySQL database. That we're gonna, I will show you that entire code step by step. Okay, so here, so if there is an error right here starting in this line, all this block of code gets executed. However, if there is no error, we have to now write the code so that some of the code basically I grab it from the create product category when I wrote that method. So we will be basically imitating the same idea. So if there is no error, very first thing I'm going to do, I don't want to show that error message anymore because we have all the data that we are ready to submit. I'm going to uncomment that code, and let's see, that code will fix our issue. Let's nice pair of shoes or something, some product here. I don't have a shoes category. Looks nice. I'm going to choose whatever for now. And product cost, let's say our cost is $56, and then we'll be selling this product into we'll be making some money. And whatever you like to, nice products and stuff. Of course, it's nothing gonna happen right now because we don't have any code to persist this information into backend database, or so we'll have to do all of those steps. Nothing really happened. Okay. So next thing we're gonna do. Of course, we need to inject in our controller. We need to inject a service called product service right here. I have just a few methods into product service right now. This is my product service. In the product service, only method that I have, and most of these I copied from my previous one. So I have a method called get all product categories. Okay, that is the other thing I wanted you guys to know about. So this method called get all product category is the method that belongs in our service called product category service. That's why in my product service, factory service right here, I'm injecting product category service. So this product service has a dependency with the product category service. This is very common if you have been writing code in server side, Most of the time you have to collaborate with bunch of other objects. Okay, anyway, so once I inject those dependencies, then I specify it here in my method. And then basically I can say, okay, I have this method right here, and I'm going to ask the controller, because that is the responsibility of the category controller, to go to the backend database. It already does that, so why should I write new method, right? So basically, hey product category service, go and paste the data, all the categories that I need, because I need to bind to my drop down list. Okay, so next thing we're going to do, okay, now here from our controller, when the button gets clicked, we need to post the data. So let's go ahead and start writing. So we're gonna ask our product service. None of this method really exists. We'll be writing, one at a time. It will be a create product, and of course I need to hand it over the product information that entered by the user, which is going to come out from scope dot product. Now we have a product to submit. Okay, create the product. This would post this data to the server, and the service, Angular service, and then of course our custom product service and product service behind the scene makes the AJAX call using HTTP. Okay, once we have this product, we hand it over to that method, and on success, data or something. Just for now, if I'm going to follow the same pattern that I've been following, just so create product. Actually, I should have just copied this code, and let me do that. Instead of saying product category service, that is not the responsibility of in this case, it's going to be that. And name of the method would be a create product. And of course, we're not going to pass the product category in this case. We'll be passing this product object. That is, and then on success, we would be once the data comes out, we'll have a status. If everything is good, we would display the message you have successfully submitted that information, and then we're going to use this timeout. It's the timeout, custom service provided by the AngularJS, which is basically basically exposes the same functionality as the set timeout or set interval kind of method exposed by the JavaScript, but much better, because these is very unit testable. Okay. And I have this, the callback function to be executed, call after timeout, clear the message, and finally just, I don't need, these are the method from the previous one, so okay, you got the idea. So at this point, of course, we don't have the create product method into our service. Let's go ahead and then write this method in our service. Is a product service. This is very similar to so I'm gonna this is create product. Instead of product category, we'll have the product here. Now I can uncomment this code. I mean to say, I don't mean to do that. I mean to do that. Okay. So of course now we have to define our endpoint. Of course, those endpoint in the server side doesn't really exist. So I'm asking, you know, HTTP $HTTP service from Angular, and I would like to post the data that we have here into the endpoint. This is our endpoint. Of course, the endpoint is not create product category, it's going to be create product. Okay, and then these are the data I would like to post. If you have been following along, of course, the way I have done is something very corresponding to this data right here. I need the product category, the product cost, name, description, created date, is active, updated, all this information right here that I have to pass, right? But this update, this is active, created date, those are like, you know, a data that's not visible to the user. We can set those data from the server side. So I'm not going to do it, but these like product category, product cost, name, description, those we have to, these data are coming from the UI, user interface, so we need to pass those data. So we can say based on that, we can say product category ID. So product, that's the product, it contains product category ID property. Okay, that is done. The next thing we need to pass is the product cost. And of course, there is a product and properties product cost. Alright, that is that. Let's go ahead and do the same thing for the other remaining properties. So that, okay, based on these, we need name and description, the name of the product, which is going to come out, which I think we named it as a name property in our product object, and description is description here. Then created date is basically we will be set that value from server side is active from server side, and the product price, that's the last property we'll be setting from here. Product price, product dot. I will have to double check with this property, guys, but product price. Okay, this is all the data that I would like to post to our server. Okay, let's make it a little better. Our code. Okay, so that's what we're going to do, right? But of course, you know, this, let's see, we wrote a bunch of code. We don't have a unit test yet, but let's see if at least, you know, we can post some data. I'm going to refresh this. Awesome shoes. In the category, awesome shoes in town, product cost, blah, blah, blah. Some details here. Of course, you know, nothing, but we can actually see right here. You know, we can see, but by looking it into the Node console in our server side. So basically, you know, it you know, like when this happens, get all product categories, it called that one, but it's a 304, it already exists, so it grab from the cache. Data hasn't been changed, right? And then after that, we try to post into API create products. As you can see right here, this is a create product. We just randomly choose that as endpoint, and then this information was posted to the server. We can verify exactly the same information from our developer windows, developer tools from here also. So in here, as you can see, it is 404 because this endpoint doesn't really exist. We cannot, the post data is, post endpoint is not defined. So far that is good. So once we can see the error, now we can go ahead and write the next feature. Next part, the next part is of course, posting, defining our endpoint. I would be covering that in the next part of our video tutorials. Thank you so much guys for following and then writing code and learning code. I really appreciate it.